Hi there, it's Jason here from Team FM, and today I'm just going to give you a really quick overview of the FreeAgent dashboard. Now you can see that with the screen here, it's actually called the overview. This is the main screen when you first open FreeAgent. Now FreeAgent, just to briefly tell you a little bit about it, it's a cloud-based system, so it's based completely online, and it's a really popular package, particularly for the smaller business. I think where FreeAgent really excels is in its ease of use. As you can see by the overview screen here, it's really easy to understand. So I'm just going to really briefly run through what we can see on the screen now. And as I say, it's just to give you a little bit of a flavour of FreeAgent and how it works and how it presents the figures to you. And there's a few really interesting features on this particular screen. So first of all, you can see the cash flow in this little box here. So we've got the green bars which show incoming money, and we've got the red that show outgoing. Now it's very nicely summarized in graph form here. We've also got figures here we can look at. Now this particular graph and these particular figures are showing last 12 months, but that can be changed. If we click on that, we can say last 6 months, or we can say last 3 months. So I'm just going to click through that for the moment. The next little box here, we've got an invoice timeline. So again, quite a handy little sort of bar chart on who owes you money, how much is outstanding, how much has been paid, how much is overdue, which you'll see by the sort of red bars there, how much is due now in orange, and how much has been paid, which is in green. And we have a few other tabs here which will go into greater detail in a later clip, but we've got the invoices tab, so it just tells you the status of the invoices that you have on the system at the moment. We've got an estimates tab. On FreeAgent you can raise estimates as well. So this little graph here, this little table, shows you which estimates have been approved and which are open at the moment. We've got a projects tab there. Projects you can use in FreeAgent. Again, we're not going to cover that today, but just to really briefly show you what's on the overview screen. And time slips as well. We're not going to go into that today, but just to show you what's on the screen really. So on the next box along, we have the banking part of the screen. Now this is the business current account as it stands in FreeAgent at the moment. It will always give you an up-to-date balance, and there's a nice little graph there of how in this case the money steadily increased as the months have gone. So we've got all accounts there, so obviously in this scenario there's a few more bank accounts than just this one, but it's quite handy little graph just to sort of show you the status of your bank account at the moment. And the last two boxes we've got on here, we've got a little box of expenses down here. So if you've entered expenses when you've sort of gone to see a client, or you've taken the underground, or you've had a snack somewhere, you can record your expenses on FreeAgent, and this will come up on the overview screen as well. So that's quite handy as well. We've got a little bills tab there. There's no open or overdue bills here at the moment, but there's a facility in FreeAgent where you can enter bills, and if you had any bills on the system, this is the box that they would appear. And you can actually enter a new bill directly from the overview screen as well, and similarly you can enter a new sales invoice from the overview screen too. Now the last box, which is probably the most interesting one on here, is the profit and loss and the tax timeline. Now the profit and loss is works as follows really. In this scenario, this demo company that we've got up in front of us, we're actually running a limited company. So FreeAgent will calculate the income, the expenses and the profit so far in the company. So this is a sort of real-time figure if you like. And it will also give you an estimate of corporation tax and how much is allowable to take at the moment in the way of dividends. So a really handy feature, and I think this particular feature is pretty much exclusive to FreeAgent. I've not really seen this in the other cloud systems, and I think it is really handy just to give you a sort of a rough estimate of what your tax bill is going to be, what your dividends you're allowed to draw, etc. Obviously this does work for sole traders as well, but in this case on the screen now we're looking at limited company figures. And to sort of carry that theme forward, we've got the retained profit here. So we've got the current year so far, we've got the brought forward retained profit, and how much we've got available to distribute. So if you're running a small limited company and you're running it without your accountant seeing it regularly, then this is a quite handy little box for you to keep on track and not sort of overdraw dividends in the company. I think it's a really handy feature. And just as handy, if we click on this tax timeline here, this is also really useful. It actually tells you when your VAT return's due, and it tells you how much it is. Obviously these figures are all based in real time, so the more up to date the figures are, the more accurate this is going to be. But I just think that's really handy, tell you when your VAT return is due, when your next company's house accounts are due, when your next corporation tax returns due, balancing payments due, income tax, etc, etc, etc. Really handy, and I really do think that sort of feature is kind of unique to FreeAgent. I think it's really, really helpful. So without wanting to get too complicated and without sort of opening too much more there, that's kind of a basic rundown of the FreeAgent overview screen. So as I say, there's kind of a lot of information there to take in all at once on one screen, but it's quite a handy little summary of how your business is performing.